But it was Frank Kern who eventually convinced me that I needed to do email marketing because he and I did a small little deal. He's got a 7-figure business in a market I won't tell you what it is. He just asked me to take a look at it, and we got this thing. Worked like gangbusters, spent an afternoon or two doing it, built a list of 50,000 people. We just walked away. In fact, we can't even get in the account right now because we lost the password and we don't even have the email anymore. So that's how little it meant to us, but it was fun. The thing with me is I like to do certain things and move on. In fact, I was talking to John. John, good Italian last name? Okay. And he said that he and I agree that we like to discover the stuff, learn how it works, run it as far as we can, and just walk away on to the next thing. And that's what I always do. And affiliate marketing is where I started with no email. Then I switched to email. Then I switched to data feeds. And one thing you notice, when people are on stage, they make fun of their friends. They don't make fun of people they don't like. They only make fun of their friends. Brad Fallon is a friend of mine, so I will make fun of him right now because he's not here to defend himself. Ken MacArthur was pushing Brad, speaking at the system seminar. Oh, he's this great guy, sells real products on the internet. He did this many dollars in sales in this many days. I laughed. I sold twice as much as half the time. But I wasn't the guy being promoted to stand up on stage, so I could say that because Brad's a friend of mine. But I just laughed at that, and I thought, well, maybe I should stick my neck out one of these days and say something about what I do. And it wasn't until the following March. In fact, it was March because we had a heck of a party at Reese's event for St. Patty's Day, right? Orlando? Yeah. And John had asked me to say a few words. Actually, what happened is John had asked me to help him give him some SEO information. And when I got there, John was speaking for 3 days by himself. And I've done that a few times myself. I'm the only speaker for 3 days that's a pain in the butt. And John said, my back's killing me. Do you mind just talking about some of that stuff for me? And that was something I owe John a great deal. He's always said that he owes me, but I thought that was nice of him to do that. That turned into Yannick Silver and so on and so forth. So in the past 4 years, I've spoken 5 times, 3 times at seminars, StomperNet, Frank Kern Serializer, and also at Yannick Silver's event. And then I spoke at Frank's again, but it wasn't recorded. And then I also spoke at John's for 20 minutes on tape. So that's it. And the only reason I'm here today is because Jeff Walker and I are very, very good friends. I'm supposed to be in Italy, so I wasn't even going to come, but we had to cancel the trip. So I came here instead. My goal at the time, it was funny, I came home from that drive from Cleveland, I told my wife, I want to do this internet marketing thing. She's crying her eyes out, she's bawling, because the stock market was good to us, the business being a broker. And I said, well, I buy things on a whim, and I went out and I bought a new SUV. And I said, I'll make enough to pay for it, because if I didn't make enough to pay for it in a different channel, she would go out and spend 10 times as much money on something else that I didn't want. So, and a friend of mine, I don't know if he's made it public, I'll let him tell you guys about it, but a friend of mine told me the other day, called up and said, I spent $200,000 getting a flight on that Virgin Air, everyone knows that rocket ride, the Virgin Rocket. He put his money down. His wife said the same thing. You have to earn the money from something other than our normal business. So he went out and he did a promotion, raised the cash, and paid $200,000. I can't tell you who it is. I wanted him to have the thunder when he announces it if he hasn't yet. But my goal was to do that. My wife, bless her heart, again, we had another conversation. I sat her down. I said, if I can't focus on this, I had a baby, had another one on the way, remodeling a house, building another house on top of that, and a stockbroker. And I said, if I can't focus on this, I don't have ADD, all right? I focus. And when I get into something, all these guys talk about ADD. I don't have ADD. I focus on stuff. My mind is focused. It just happens to go a little fast. And I told her, if I couldn't, if I couldn't focus full time, I'd never be the success I wanted to be. So I said, what's it going to take to let you be comfortable with me leaving the business? Bless her heart, she said $2,000 a month, and I almost died laughing. I mean, she's crying her eyes out. I said, just don't worry about it. It'll happen. And 3 months later, it was history. So started out with pay-per-click. Most people don't know that. I was getting $11 for every $1 spent on pay-per-click. That's how I started out. Moved on to testing AdSense. AdSense, I was up to about $3,000 a day with my first 60 days of doing it. It was pure profit, all SEO stuff. It was means to an end, though. SEO is a means to end. I've always said, and Jeff Walker defends me all the time, I'm not an SEO guy, I'm a marketer. Marketer was simply a way for me to find someone to sell my stuff to. I mean, that's what SEO was all about. It was getting me in front of someone so I could make them an offer for them to buy something. So SEO is simply a means to an end for me. I just happened to pick it up. Blog and Ping, by the time I talked about that at John Reese's event, I thought it was old hat, but apparently it wasn't. High price coaching, I stood up at Yannick's event. I did pretty well there. Membership sites, I launched 2 separate companies last year. They're $1 million companies. On a whim, it was a product toss, as Frank Kern says. Jeff Walker gets mad because I won't do official launches. I might leak out something's coming. 2 days before Christmas, I launched one of them. He's like, dude, you can't launch 2 days before Christmas. How did that turn out? Yeah, it wasn't a launch, it was a toss. So I did it twice last year. So that's enough about me. Like I said, I'm Jeff Johnson. The one interesting thing is 45 years ago, give or take, the parents of certain guys in the United States of America have enough foresight to name their future internet marketing sons Jeff, because there's the holy trinity of Jeff. Carlton, we were at Evan's function, and Carlton's just laughing, pointing at us. He's like, look, Jeff, 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 all always sitting together. Jeff, 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 wherever we go, it's Jeff, Jeff, Jeff. It's because we're great friends, and we actually travel together. But so that's it. That's who I am. I own 5 or 6 different companies. I do consulting. I do SEO. I do my own business. I do non-internet marketing stuff. I've got software development companies. It's all over the board. What to expect, affiliate product creation and promotion was the theme of this particular presentation. It took me 9 hours to make it the time I made it for my clients. That's the good news, is that I'm going to do it because Jeff thought it was worthwhile. He asked me to do it. The bad news is it took me 9 hours, and we don't have 9 hours. We have 1 hour and 19 minutes. So the key to all success, a very important thing here, is I tell people all the time, if you don't have a monetization strategy in place before you go into a market, you're going to fail more often than you succeed. You can't just build a website or a series of websites without knowing how that you plan to make money once they're up. Rich pointed out to us that companies like Apple and TiVo change the game once they're in there. And it's another key rule that you have to have in business, is you have to have a monetization strategy, but you have to be able to change it on a dime. You have to set up your corporation so you can make a change once it's going. You can focus in on one method of distribution, you can focus in on one method of earning the money, but you have to be nimble enough and smart enough to look ahead and see that changes are coming and respond to the external market forces. And that's what I've always done. In the brokerage business, they always thought I was really successful after they decided they were going to do something in the corporation. Well, no. I always figured out where we were going in advance and tried to get there first. And as Evan said, being first is a very powerful position. You don't even have to be the biggest producer, but if you're first there, you're the poster child. Same thing applies to internet marketing. You don't want to create the market, but if you can convince them it's a new category, that's a different story altogether. So monetization strategy should always be in mind whenever you do anything in the internet. I have people build 300 sites, and they have no idea why they built them other than they thought they could make some money. Where's the strategy there? Something else that Jeff talks about all the time is building a business. I don't do launches because I'm building a business when I normally do my product tosses. And I have the end in mind when I start creating the business. And it's always creating a business. That's what it's all about. So think about the monetization strategy. Think about strategies. When we went out to Evan's mastermind in January, that's what he talked about the whole time. And it's like, that's what we do. I actually sit down. Anthony works for me. He's in the audience. We sat down third quarter of 2006. I said, you know what, here's my businesses, here's where we're going to go, what we're going to roll out in 2006, this is where we want to be, this is what we have to do to get there. Here's a company that's generating definitely generating 7 figures a year. And I told him, I think I'm going to walk away from it. He's like, are you crazy? I said, it's just not what I wanted as part of my strategy. After I built it, then I realized it still had too much of my time involved to be in it. I didn't want to be in it. Stu was killing me. He's like, every time I talk to you, that's all I hear about, just walk away. Jeff was the same way. He's like, you know what, it just sounds like you need to walk away. And I just said, you know what, I liked the company. It was a lot of money. I built